This morning, we're delving into a crucial issue affecting the picturesque driftless region spanning southeastern Minnesota and northeast Iowa. Water, often seen as the lifeblood of this area's natural beauty, is now under threat, potentially impacting the health of those who call it home. Recent reports highlight rising concerns about the pollutants in the water supply, prompting environmental advocates to take action. Join me as I explore the implications and efforts to safeguard the region's water quality and public health. Here in southeast Minnesota and northeast Iowa's driftless region, water is everything. It's the artist, it's brush, the trout streams I'm standing in, and its canvas, the limestone bluffs and karst geology that you see behind me. But this special and beautiful area is also under threat, and it might just be the water you're drinking too. It's a scary thought, but could the water you're drinking be impacting your health? A recent report from the Iowa Cancer Registry shows the state with the second highest and fastest rising rate of cancer in the United States.
Cancer, birth defects, so there are some long-term concerns about people drinking nitrate contaminated water over their lifetime.
That's Michael Schmidt, an attorney with the Iowa Environmental Council. His group, amongst 12 others, have filed a petition to the Environmental Protection Agency over rising pollution and in particular nitrate in ground and drinking water. Levels of nitrate above 10 parts per million are deemed unsafe by the EPA.
It's 15% of wells that are exceeding that 10 parts per million level. There are some that are even above 20 parts per million. So there are some that are significantly above the EPA's drinking water standard for public water supplies.
The petition focuses particularly on worsening water quality in northeast Iowa's driftless region. Thanks to its karst geology, the limestone bedrock here is porous to water, and therefore all the pollutants that come with it too.
We're asking EPA to step in and force changes in the state to clean up Iowa's groundwater in the karst region, because we have lots of private wells and some public water supplies that are being contaminated by nitrate.
In Strawberry Point, Iowa, some public tap water was pushing 10 parts per million until 2019 when the community replaced the well. But widespread rising nitrate levels across the area show that this may only be a temporary fix. And across the greater region, the many folks who rely on their own private wells will be drinking this same polluted water. Rising nitrate is not only a concern for public health, but the environment too. Chris Jones, a retired researcher with the University of Iowa, has recently founded the group Driftless Water Defenders to raise awareness for this exact point.
The goal of the new group is to advocate, educate, and litigate to protect water quality in the natural environment in Iowa's portion of the driftless.
The petition to the EPA cites recent studies showing that around 80% of this contamination can be traced to agricultural fertilizers. In a state where the main industry is agriculture, Jones believes it is important to give a voice to the environment.
It's very important for us as citizens to try to protect what is left. We know that agriculture will, they'll take it all if they can, and so if we want to try to maintain, parks and natural areas in our state, look, we have to fight for it.
Jones's group has issued a letter in support of the petition to the EPA. So with all this support, what is next? Alicia Vasto, the water program director with the IEC, says their effort is based on a successful petition to the EPA last year across the border in Minnesota's portion of the driftless. So now, all's left to do is just wait.
And seeing the success of the Minnesota petition where they were able to get a response from the EPA, we thought that maybe that could work here as well.
If the petition is successful, it could result in some changes in state policy surrounding fertilizer use and the practice of concentrated animal feeding operations, also known as CAFOs.
And longer term, we hope that there will be support for policy changes that ensure clean water across Iowa, including the driftless and the rest of the state.
It's evident that action is needed to protect our waterways and public health. Stay informed, stay engaged, and join us as we continue to monitor developments in this ongoing story.
Multiple wildfires are picking up speed in the West as thousands face possible evacuation orders. I'm Naomi Ruckham with the biggest obstacle for firefighters right now, and it's not the heat.
Thanks for waking up with us. It is 5:16 here on your Tuesday morning.
We want to get over to KIMT Storm Team 3 meteorologist Sean McAday now, because we're some more storms in the forecast here. Sean, when can we expect to see those?
It's going to be a long week. Yeah, it'll be this evening. Thankfully, it's not this morning. Otherwise, I would already be at least 2 cups of coffees deep. Yeah, yesterday was fun. No, today's going to be a lot better for most of the day. And then this evening, we are again tracking a risk for severe storms, which could be impactful and dangerous. I'm very happy that we did not, at least I haven't heard of any injuries or serious accidents with the damage that we saw yesterday in Rochester. Again, some pretty large trees either snapped or uprooted on the north side of town. Hopefully we don't see anything like that today, but that is, of course, a risk anytime you have severe weather, and that's what we'll be monitoring. First, this morning, though, we have the ingredients necessary for storms. It's 74 degrees, warm start to the day. That is warm, and it's warm because it's humid. Dew point right now, 69 degrees. What is dew point? Essentially, temperatures cannot drop below dew point. That's what it is. It's how much humidity you have that you can fit into that temperature. The higher that dew point is up to the temperature, well then, okay, it's more humid. Right now, it's very, very humid with dew points above 60 degrees. That's typically when it starts to feel sticky. And it's windy too, so you have heat and humidity flowing in out of the south up into the north. To our north, the cold night and a little bit of a cold front are squeezing out all this heat and humidity in the form of thunderstorms. We have a severe weather outbreak, huge actually severe thunderstorm warning spanning northern Minnesota. That's kind of similar to what potentially we could see this evening. However, let's be honest, I'll tell you, it is probably looking a little bit less in saying that it is up north at the moment. We'll see, but that is the exact risk that we're tracking. A line of storms this evening, maybe 6, 7, 8 p.m., carrying with it strong winds, gusting 60+ miles per hour like we saw yesterday in North Rochester and other parts of the area, and maybe some hail in the mix as well. It will be a breezy day, high temperatures rising into the mid-80s this afternoon with heat and humidity. Right now, temps are in the mid-70s. For today, the heat risk index showing at the moderate stage. Essentially, if you are susceptible or affected greatly by heat, then you might want to take it a little bit easy today. But for most of us, we're just going to call it a nice, hot, and sticky day. The heat index, what it feels like outside, rising all the way into almost 90 degrees. For some of us, it will be touching 90 degrees. You got some sunshine before the storms arrive. Here we are, 6 p.m. It's moving into Forest City, Mason City, and Albert Lee and Owatonna. 7 to 8 o'clock, it's moving into Austin, Rochester, and Charles City. And once that storm starts, by the way, you got it on and off for a couple of hours before things start to settle down into tomorrow. Let's bring into the 7-day forecast, shall we? Well, the weekend is always in view. Tomorrow, cooler day. We lose some of the humidity, which ain't pretty nice, actually. It shows rain, and that's true. You get a couple raindrops in the morning, but then skies clear in the afternoon. So Wednesday afternoon, a nice opportunity to get outside. If you don't like heat and humidity or rain when you're doing whatever you are outside. So tomorrow afternoon it's looking good, and then we'll track more heat and humidity and storms moving back in for the second half of the week.
Nice little reprieve, though, right? For
little reprieve.
Reprieve.
Good way to put that. Yeah, little break.
That's what I meant.
Thanks, Sean.
Fire crews in California have now gained some control over the area's first major wildfire of the year. Dubbed the Post Fire, the blaze has spread to more than 15,000 acres.
It's now 20% contained. Naomi Ruckham explains how wind conditions especially are posing a challenge for firefighters as they battle the blaze.
The swift-moving Post Fire in northwestern Los Angeles County is being fueled by high winds and dry brush. It's just one of 11 active wildfires covering 10 acres or more in the state.
The temperatures are going to kind of hang out at that 85-degree mark, which is hot but not super hot. But I think our biggest battle is with the wind and what it decides to do.
That wind is making airdrops of water and fire retardant a challenge, with steep terrain and unpredictable gusts tossing embers ahead of the flames. Red flag warnings are still in effect in Gorman, where the fire was first reported over the weekend. A car repair shop there could not be saved as the flames burned through vehicles. Some kind neighbors offered their help with the cleanup.
This is a tiny town that pretty catastrophic when you have a fire like this. Tire company lost all their stock, so I'm here to help clean that up and get them going again.
More than 1,000 firefighters are trying to put out the post fire as crews work to build a perimeter and stop its progress. But about 50 homes are in harm's way.
This is right up there with some of the worst fires I've seen.
Multiple other fires still ravaging the Southwest. Also in California, the Point Fire has spread to more than 1,200 acres. In New Mexico, the South Fork Fire has burned more than 5,000 acres. People living in multiple towns nearby have been told to be ready to go if that time comes. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
Coming up here on Daybreak, fallen Minneapolis police officer Jamal Mitchell is honored in his home state of Connecticut. You'll hear from those who knew him best about how they want him to be remembered.
Plus, a story of grit and determination, how one Iowa man is overcoming heartbreak to keep his late wife's dream alive.
It has now been just about 3 weeks since Minneapolis police officer Jamal Mitchell was killed in a shooting. Now he's being remembered in his home state of Connecticut. Mitchell's funeral and a procession was held yesterday morning in his hometown of New Haven. His final resting place is Evergreen Cemetery. Mitchell died on May 30th in Minneapolis while trying to help the gunman who killed him and 2 other people. Both the Minneapolis police chief and Mitchell's great-grandmother shared their thoughts on his life and legacy.
Thank you so much for sharing Jamal with us, as brief as it was. He will live on with us forever, and we will never forget. Farewell, Minneapolis Police Officer Jamal Mitchell, number 4819. We have the watch from here.
I believe God told him to leave your kindred. Oh, come on. And go to Minnesota.
As you may recall, last Tuesday, a memorial service was held in Maple Grove where Mitchell lived with his fiancée and children.
A Southwest Iowa man is honoring his late wife with a project she had dreamed of starting but was never able to finish. In 2016, Craig and Penny Buckingham transformed one of their 90-year-old barns near Trainer into a venue called the Palace. They host everything from weddings to presidential campaigns. Then Craig and Penny got the idea to transform 2 of their grain bins into a massive guest house for people who use their venue. It's called Penny's Landing. Sadly, Penny was injured in an accident and died months later. Craig says once that happened, he was determined to finish the project he and his wife had started.
Yeah, she was my best friend, and I mean, I didn't expect her to go. I figured I'd go first. It's been tough. It's been a tough couple of years. I'm glad I got the Palace, because if I hadn't had that, it'd been even tougher.
Trainer City Manager says Penny's Landing draws in visitors from all over. The unique lodging facility will officially open with a ribbon cutting on Thursday. Trainer is about a 4-hour drive from Mason City. Coming up here on Daybreak, meet the unsung hero behind the Minnesota Aurora soccer team. Learn how one man's dedication behind the wheel and on the sidelines is inspiring the players and fans. Plus,
I just had to endure it.
Tune in to hear the incredible story of survival as Grandma Dixie prepares to leave the hospital after enduring multiple surgeries and nearly 4 weeks of recovery. This after surviving the Greenfield tornado.
And we're tracking heat and humidity, fuel and storms this evening, and perhaps and likely again later this week at times.
this morning on Daybreak.
Here's what you need to know. A major development proposal could reshape Rochester's Lowertown neighborhood. Stay tuned to learn how Stacked Downtown Investments LLC plans to revitalize the area and the potential impact on residents.
Plus, the Oregon Trail cyclists make a stop at Mayo Clinic to advocate for live organ donation. Stay tuned to hear about their inspiring journey and the impact they're making in the fight against kidney disease.
And I'm pointing this out because look, the sun is rising at this very exact moment in time. This is so cool. But we're going to talk about a nice day to get outside before storms this evening.
KIMT News 3, coverage you can count on. This is KIMT News 3's Daybreak, live from our Rochester studio.
Good morning, I'm Annalise Johnson.
And I'm Ryan Junty. We're glad you're here with us watching KIMT News 3's Daybreak.
Today is Tuesday, June 18th. It is just about 5:30. We're waking up to around 74 degrees.
We just saw a visual of the sun. And I have to tell you, I hope that sun sticks around for most of the day here.
It will be, actually. If you look at your phone, you look at your weather app, whatever, hopefully you use ours, but, if you're looking at the weather app, right, and you're looking at today, I mean, right there, that's a thunderstorm icon. You can't see it, I know, but it is. It's not lying to you. It's just that is going to come late in the day. A lot of the day is going to look like this, of course, with the sun being higher in the sky. But it's going to feel just as hot, if not hotter. Mid-70s right now as you're stepping out the door with dew points in the upper 60s. That is very, very humid. Lots of humidity in the air with strong winds out of the south, bringing us more of that heat and humidity. Oh, it's still hanging around. Look at that. Wow, so cool. It's currently 5:30 and the sun is rising over Austin. Right now, 75 degrees today. Austin likely getting it to at least the mid-80s. So warming by about 10 or so degrees, potentially a little bit more than that as well. Winds out of the south bringing us some of that heat. That sun is almost removed from the horizon, but we're not going to get there over the next 10 seconds. Severe thunderstorms to our north, a sign of the energy and heat in the atmosphere. We're not going to deal with that this morning, but we could potentially have a rest for that later today. So we turn mid-70s into the mid-80s this afternoon. Yes, you can enjoy some sun. You got to be mindful of the strong winds. And then this evening, I'm tracking that line of storms and how severe they could be. Guys.
Thanks, Sean. We'll see you in 10 minutes. A new developer is eyeing significant changes for Rochester's Lower Town neighborhood. Stack Downtown Investments, LLC, is planning to demolish and redevelop 9 properties along 8th and 9th Street Northeast. The discussion was set to take place at last night's Economic Development Authority meeting, but was postponed due to a lengthy city council session. This proposal involves establishing a tax increment financing district, or TIF, to facilitate the redevelopment. The 9 properties, which include 6 houses and 3 duplexes, have been vacant and boarded up for years. This neglect has raised concerns among neighbors. The Lower Town Neighborhood Association emphasizes the urgent need for redevelopment to address crime and safety issues. The president of the association shared his thoughts on the impact of these vacant properties.
It can really cause things to break. And so that's when you have things that overflow into other crime. It can be small time crime all the way up to violent incidents and things that we have had happen here in the neighborhood as a result, I think, of that area being driven so far into the ground.
If the TIF district is approved, Stack Downtown will have 3 years from the date of demolition to establish it. The developer behind this project also played a key role in the development of the brick apartments near downtown Rochester. Most of the buildings are considered affordable housing, with residents earning up to 80% of the area median income. At an upcoming EDA meeting, the council is also set to discuss a revision to the brick apartment development assistance agreement, upping that number to 110% of the area median income.
The Organ Trail, a volunteer group raising awareness about the ease of being a living organ donor, is making its way through the Midwest on bikes. Yesterday, it made a special stop at Mayo Clinic. The group, including founders Mark and Lynn Scotch, rode into Mayo's Annenberg Plaza from Soldiers Field, accompanied by surgeons from the clinic's transplant center. Despite a weather delay in Stewartville, their spirits remained high. The group is riding for 3 weeks to retrace Lynn Scotch's kidney donation from 2023. While Mayo Clinic was not part of Lynn's kidney donation process last year, the couple chose to stop by the renowned transplant center due to its significance in the field. During their visit, Lynn had a heartwarming reunion with one of the lives she saved, 3-year-old Cooper Thompson from Minneapolis.
Many people don't recognize the need and that it's possible to donate a kidney.
According to the Organ Trail, live donations are often more effective and last longer than those from deceased donors.
But only about 3 out of every 1,000 people die in such a way that their organs can be used, and it's just not meeting the need. So this is another way to solve the problem.
To really support those who are advocating for donation is truly one of the best parts about the privilege of working here. And this is just a really cool example, even when the rain just started pouring down.
And if you'd like to learn more about becoming a live donor, be sure to visit our website, KIMT.com, for more information.
The Clear Lake Area Chamber of Commerce and Tourism is being recognized for its innovative Lake Madness campaign. The Midwest Travel Network is recognizing the Lake Madness campaign with the Best Social Media Campaign Award. This bracket-style competition ran from March 4th to March 27th. It featured two main components, Festival Face-Off and Water Wars. It pitted popular local events and features against each other, such as the 4th of July fireworks versus the Christmas by the Lake fireworks, and the Everybody Play Splash Pad versus the City Beach Splash Pad. Clear Lake previously won Destination Partner of the Year from the Midwest Travel Network in 2019. Coming up here on Daybreak, learn about the Heat Risk Index, a new tool that evaluates heat-related risks. Find out how it works, who can benefit from it, and its potential impact on public safety. Plus,
millions of Americans are in the grips of an early summer heat wave now heading northeast. I'm Naomi Ruckham in New York with which areas will see dangerous triple-digit temperatures and who is most at risk.
And coming up, we're taking a look at rain on the way this evening. Stay tuned.
KIMT News 3 Daybreak. Your local news with KIMT News 3's Annalise Johnson and Ryan Junty. Weather every 10 minutes with Storm Team 3 meteorologist Sean McAday. The area's most watched morning news is on KIMT News 3, where local news comes first. We are coverage you can count on.
Summer officially starts in 2 days, but already tens of millions of Americans are facing extreme heat advisories, with temperatures expected to hover over 90 degrees all week.
More than 22 million Americans are likely to see triple digits. Naomi Ruckham is in New York with a look at how some cities are coping with record temps.
The dog days of summer are already here as a massive heat wave blankets parts of the country this week.
I looked at the forecast and I saw, all right, it's going to be toasty.
In Chicago, kids and parents beat the heat at the splash pad.
Find something you can do outside that keeps them cool, but lets them have fun.
With record temps well above 90 in the Windy City this week, officials are checking in on its unhoused population and giving them information on where they can go to cool off.
We bring water around. If they're not willing to go to the shelter, then we take them to cooling centers.
Further north in Detroit, people sunbathing on the beach were split over the scorching temps.
It is almost unbearable. I'm enjoying it. I like the heat.
Still, health experts warn that the heat can be dangerous, especially for vulnerable populations, such as the elderly, the unhoused, pregnant people, and children. Schools in central Massachusetts abruptly ended the school year early because of the temps, while Boston is taking it day by day.
There are about 10 schools that don't have air conditioning in the building.
In parts of New York, some schools have moved to half days.
It's not fair to the kids or staff to be in there when it's this hot.
With hurricane season also underway, parts of Texas are now preparing for a potential tropical storm system this week. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
The Center for Biological Diversity and other groups have sent a petition to FEMA asking the federal agency to include extreme heat and wildfire smoke as major disasters.
For now, FEMA is urging Americans to check on neighbors who may not have air conditioners, to go somewhere cool if they don't have air conditioners, and to stay hydrated by drinking plenty of water.
Thursday is the first day of summer, so it's crucial to stay informed about heat-related risks. There's a new online tool from the National Weather Service designed to help with that. The Heat Risk Index is a novel approach to evaluating potential heat impacts throughout the day. It takes into account several factors to provide a comprehensive assessment of heat risk. It evaluates how unusual the heat is for the time of year and the duration of the heat, accounting for both daytime and nighttime temperatures. It also calculates whether these temperatures pose a higher risk of heat-related impacts using data from the Centers for Disease Control. A color-coded map is generated with numerical levels to indicate risk, ranging from 0, or green, meaning no risk, to 4, or purple, signifying extreme risk. Higher risk levels means more widespread impacts on a larger population.
Anyone that has outdoor activities and there's going to be strenuous activity involved can use this type of information to help at least be more aware of the danger, but maybe go into some of the planning and preparation.
The heat risk tool is still in its experimental phase, and the National Weather Service is relying heavily on user feedback. So if you'd like to use the tool and give that feedback, you can find it on our website, KIMT.com.
It's now 5:43 on this Tuesday morning. Some more storms in the forecast here.
And waking up to warm temperatures, around 74 degrees now. Let's get to KIMT Storm Team 3 meteorologist Sean McAday. Sean, good morning.
Good morning. Nice day to hit the pool, isn't it? I think so, too. Oh, coming up, we'll talk about the hot day today, cooler temps tomorrow, and, of course, the storms in the mix on the way.
Good morning. Thanks for waking up with us. It is 5:47 here on your Tuesday morning.
Let's check in with KIMT Storm Team 3 meteorologist Sean McAday. Sean, what are you tracking for our Tuesday?
It's going to be a hot and humid day. Later today, it could also storm. We're already seeing some storms well to our north in northern Minnesota right now in this yellow polygon. It's just this line right here, stretching all the way from International Falls down to maybe the Bemidji area, kind of eyeing ball, no label right there. But what's going on here is we have cold air, which is moving into all the heat and humidity, which we're feeling right now. That heat and humidity is not going to stop until cold air tries to push it away, to equalize everything, to make it balanced, right? That comes this evening. Until then, get used to the heat and the humidity. Also, this is cool. You see this flush of the radar right here? Those are birds on the radar. Actually rising with the rising sun, soaring up into the air. They're waking up and saying, hello, good morning, enjoy the day. They're not saying that. They sing it in words you can't understand, but you get the idea. All right, out the door this morning. You're both laughing at me. So the good temperatures in the mid-70s this morning. It's humid too, so we have a warm start. And it's sticky as well. You get that dew point above 60 degrees. It starts to feel sticky. It's already at 70 degrees. So, yeah, it's hot. It's humid. Great if you're a thunderstorm that wants to turn that into energy and wind, potentially even severe weather as well. Look at these winds out of the south, almost 20 miles per hour in Rochester as we start with this beautiful start. Wow. Oh, wow. That's a sunrise if I've ever seen one. Austin, a gorgeous start to the day, 75 degrees, still a breeze out of the south, still quite humid. So today is hot, it's humid, it's windy. You can get outside actually though, up until a point, sometime this evening. A little bit more likely after 6, 7, or 8 p.m. tonight. Maybe as early as 5 o'clock with a couple lighter raindrops. That's when we're tracking our chances for rain. Before then, things are clear. You just got to be mindful. It's humid, it's windy, not the easiest day to get outside, but you certainly can, and it's certainly easier than getting outside in a thunderstorm. Today, if I had to say, is a good day for the pool, for like a lazy river or something, just sitting there and baking with sunscreen, please. Mid-80s this afternoon. It is going to be windy though, so going out on the water on a lake or however might be a little bit challenging given the wave action that we'll see today. Here come the storms around 6 o'clock. Forest City, Mason City, Albert Lee, seeing these move in between 6 or 7, then 7, 8, 9 p.m. They're moving into places like Austin, Charles City, and Rochester. They're going to last for several hours tonight with a risk for strong and damaging winds just like we saw in Rochester yesterday. Now, that's not to say we're expecting that everywhere, widespread. That is not going to be the case. Yesterday, we only saw one area, which was here in Rochester at the studio, with those strong to severe storms. They were severe. And again, today, we'll see a couple of spots potentially with similar damage, potentially. So we'll just continue to keep an eye on that. Wednesday, things cool down, so no severe weather risk, but it could pick back up again Friday and Saturday when we soar back into the 80s.
All right. Thanks, Sean. Coming up here on Daybreak, meet the unsung hero behind the Minnesota Aurora soccer team. Learn how one man's dedication behind the wheel and on the sidelines is inspiring the players and fans. Plus,
I just had to endure.
Hear the incredible story of survival as Grandma Dixie prepares to leave the hospital after enduring multiple surgeries and nearly 4 weeks of recovery after surviving the Greenfield tornado.
An Egan man is helping inspire the Minnesota Aurora soccer team from behind the wheel and the bench. Stephen Barry is not just any spectator at these games. He's been the team's bus driver since the inaugural season 3 years ago. Beyond his role behind the wheel, the team says Barry means much more to the squad. Despite not being a soccer fan initially, Barry says he learned more about the sport. Barry says his journey with the team has deepened his appreciation for women's sports and each player's style of play.
Well, that's what makes it so easy, since I am a girl dad. You know, it's just a natural. I was always cheering for them, so it's just natural to see some other successful women and be able to cheer for them too. Practice hard, they play hard, they're fast, they're aggressive. It's just fun to watch that they are, you know, just as successful and play as hard as men do.
The Aurora's final home games of the regular season are scheduled for this Thursday and Saturday at the TCO Performance Center in Egan.
Happening today, a Greenfield woman affectionately known as Grandma Dixie is set to leave the hospital after nearly 4 weeks of intensive care following last month's devastating tornado.
I just had to endure it.
Dixie Dingman, a beloved member of the Greenfield community, has been through an unimaginable ordeal. After living in Greenfield for nearly 50 years, she found herself facing the wrath of a tornado that tore through her home. Despite suffering serious injuries, including 10 broken ribs and a spine fracture, Dixie's spirit remained unbroken. On that fateful day, Dixie was on her treadmill, finishing her daily walk, when she noticed the ominous skies overhead. She hurried to seek shelter in her basement, but before she could reach safety, the tornado struck, trapping her beneath the rubble of the collapsed home. Miraculously, the debris that buried Dixie also shielded her from further harm, likely saving her life. Despite the excruciating pain, Dixie remained resilient, waving for help until rescuers arrived.
I didn't get to the place I was headed for, but as it turned out, I would have been killed down there.
As she prepares to leave the hospital, Dixie remains grateful for the support of her community and the medical team who helped her through this difficult time.
It is now 5:55 on this Tuesday morning. We're taking a live look over Rochester. KIMT Storm Team 3 meteorologist Sean McAday is tracking showers today with more storms on the horizon. He'll be in next to tell you what you need to know.